Army makes it 3 in a row over Navy in annual Army-Navy game. For the third straight year, Army, 10-2, got to sink second after the Army-Navy game. Army notched its third consecutive victory over Navy, 3-10, with a 17-10 victory in Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia on Saturday afternoon. Army scored with completing a big pass on an early third down and ending the drive with a 10-yard touchdown run with a 51-yard run by between those two plays. The defense took care of things from there as neither team managed to get much going on offense for the majority of the game, but Army's defense had the stronger outing in holding Navy to just 77 yards of offense through the first 3 quarters of play. Navy also had 4 turnovers, including a costly fumble by senior deep in the Army end in the fourth quarter. Lewis would make up for his fumble on Navy's next possession. After forcing Army to go 3 and out following the Navy turnover, Lewis capped a quick drive with a 1-yard push for a touchdown. Ignited the drive right from the start with a 43-yard run from the Army 48-yard line. Now with a spark of life, Navy's defense forced Army to punt the ball away again on the ensuing possession after a 3 and out, giving Navy the ball at their own 34-yard line to start the drive. But a false start penalty on a 3rd and 7 backed Navy up 5 more yards and a third down pass was broken up on the sideline. Knowing that a punt may not give Navy a chance to get the ball back, Wisely chose to go for it on 4th and 12. But had the ball knocked out of his hand by, who recovered the loose ball on the ground at the Navy 22-yard line. The running trio of Walker, Hopkins and powered Army for much of the game, doing enough damage to give Army a 2-score lead and running clock, although Navy eventually started to lock in a bit better. The win for Army gives the Black Knights the first back-to-back 10-win seasons in school history, and now Army has a chance to record the first 11-win season in school history with an upcoming bowl game. The job continuing to be done by Army head coach remains one of the best in the nation. Monken took over an Army team that had won more than 3 games just twice since 2006 and was in the midst of an extended 14-game losing streak to Navy. It took a few years, but Monken now has Army situated in the better spot with a top 25 team and back-to-back 10-win seasons, but the 3-game winning streak over Navy is what Army fans will get to brag about for the next 365 days. Army now has its longest winning streak against Navy since winning 5 straight meetings between 1992 and 1996. This is Army's longest winning streak against Navy since winning 5 straight from 1992 through 1996. 4 of those games were played in Veterans Stadium. The other was played in Giant Stadium. Kevin McGuire, at Kevin Wansp, Army's season will see one more game played with the Black Knights heading to the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, Texas. Army will play one of Navy's AAC West Division foes, the Houston Cougars, in the Armed Forces Bowl on Saturday, December 22. Houston leads the all-time series with Army, 5-2, with the most recent game being played when both teams were members of Conference USA in 2004. Navy's season is now officially over. The midshipmen are staying home for the bowl season for the first time since 2011 and just the second time since Paul Johnson coaches his first season in Annapolis in 2002. Navy's 2019 season opener will be played on Saturday, August 31, 2019 against Holy Cross. Next season's Army-Navy game is scheduled for Saturday, December 14, 2019. It will once again be played in Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Oklahoma State should have a bit of a quarterback competition going into the 2019 season, but will not be a part of it. Kolar announced his decision to transfer to another Big 12 school on Sunday night. He's heading to Iowa State, where his brother plays tight end. Beyond excited to announce my commitment to finish my academic and athletic career at Iowa State University, Kolar announced in a brief statement on Twitter. The opportunity to play alongside my brother in a program as special as this one was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. Kolar appeared in just one game in his time at Oklahoma State, in which he attempted 2 passes with 1 completion for 8 yards and rushed twice for a gain of 18 yards for the Cowboys in 2016. Given his history at Oklahoma State, it stood to reason he was not going to be a factor in the Oklahoma State offense in 2019. How much of a role he ends up having at Iowa State is also a question, as the Cyclones are pretty set at the quarterback as well, with freshmen showing what he can do this season and sophomore still in the mix as well. But, as his statement suggests, the chance to close out his college career with his brother is pretty special too. Charlie Kolar was Iowa State's 6th leading receiver this season with 11 receptions for 137 yards and 3 touchdowns. Iowa State head coach was also, and should the situation present itself, it would be nice if Campbell finds an opportunity to allow the Kolar brothers to connect for a touchdown next season. As a graduate transfer, John Kolar will be eligible to play at Iowa State next season. It is not uncommon for a new head coach to wipe the slate clean with a coaching staff once he takes on a job, but sometimes there will be some assistants retained from the previous staff. Such appears to be the case at Colorado, where new head coach appears to be keeping a couple of familiar faces from the previous staff in the program moving forward. Colorado co-offensive coordinator took to Twitter to confirm the news regarding his status himself by expressing his pride in remaining a part of the Colorado coaching staff moving forward with Tucker. "Excited I'm staying at the University of Colorado. We will continue to build our roster and do something special together in Boulder. Bleed black and gold, and the 2019 class will be joining a really good young team. Shoulder to shoulder. Go Buffs, fire, 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 fire." Darren Chiaverini, at Coach Chev 6. However, it is not quite known just what role Chiaverini will be taking on with the Buffs. A report from on Monday morning states Tucker will add. Johnson would be following Tucker to Colorado from Georgia, where he was an offensive analyst and quality control coach with the SEC's Bulldogs. Chiaverini also held the responsibility of coaching the wide receivers and was Colorado's recruiting coordinator. Continuing in those roles at the very least may be a likely outcome as the staff roles are defined. Bruce Feldman of The Athletic also reports, running backs coach is expected to remain on the staff as well. Hearing that Colorado great Darian Hagan, the Buffs Air Bay coach, is expected to remain on new coach Mel Tucker's staff. Bruce Feldman, at Bruce Feldman, Hagan, a former Buffs quarterback on Colorado's 1989 and 1990 teams, has been on the Colorado staff for a total of 14 years between multiple stops in Boulder. Hagan worked with player development from 2013 through 2015 and has worked as director of player personnel and running backs coach under multiple coaches. Having a coach that is as connected to the program as Hagan would be an asset to any new head coach at Colorado, so keeping Hagan in town would be a good move for Tucker. Bowling Green's new head coach and ready to go. Completed the final pieces of his new coaching staff with the Falcons with the additions of into the coaching staff. Van Gorder will take on the role of associate head coach and linebackers coach. Campany fills the role of the defensive line coach. Van Gorder comes to Bowling Green from a brief stint at Louisville. A head coaching change at Louisville left Van Gorder on the market for a job less than a year after taking the job with the Cardinals under former head coach. Louisville added Van Gorder, a former defensive coordinator at Notre Dame and defensive analyst with Georgia and Oklahoma State, in January to take on the role of defensive coordinator. Leffler and Van Gorder worked together at Auburn in 2012 when Leffler was the offensive coordinator and Van Gorder was the defensive coordinator for the Tigers under former head coach. With Van Gorder as defensive coordinator, Louisville turned in the nation's 122nd ranked defense, allowing 483.5 yards per game this fall. The Cardinals ranked 128th in scoring defense out of 130 FBS teams by allowing 44.1 points per game. Bowling Green allowed 40.0 points per game this season. Campany is following Leffler from Boston College. Campany was a graduate assistant the past 2 seasons at Boston College, where he assisted with the offensive line. He previously was a defensive line coach working at Wyoming Area High School in Exeter, Pennsylvania in 2016. Missouri defensive end has been suspended by the Missouri football program following his arrest on Sunday morning. According to Williams was arrested for. "We were made aware of the situation yesterday, and Trey was immediately suspended indefinitely from all team activities," Missouri head coach said in a released statement. "We will provide an update if his status changes." The arrest was made by Columbia Police at Williams' off-campus apartment, but the details regarding the alleged incident have not been reported at this time. Williams has been suspended in accordance with the Missouri Student-Athlete Handbook's policies regarding any arrests on felony charges. The charge levied against Williams is classified as a Class D felony in the state of Missouri, according to. Williams has reportedly been released on a $4,500 bond. Williams, a redshirt sophomore from Columbia, Missouri, has played in 12 games for Missouri this season, in which he has recorded 20 tackles with 2.5 sacks. Though he has started for the Tigers this season, Williams has been listed second on the team's official depth chart at defensive end behind sophomore in the last few games of the regular season. On a much less significant note, this arrest would seemingly put Williams' availability for Missouri's bowl game in jeopardy. Missouri will play Oklahoma State in the Liberty Bowl on December 31.